I get to listen to the intro song. I just get so pumped up. So excited today for the cash show. Holden, Hoop, and my daughter's favorite RPS guy, Mangone. Oh, I mean, you really won her over the other day wearing that cheesehead hat, man. And now I got to buy one. So I think you're kind of a jerk, but congratulations, man. She really likes you, Mangone.
She's gonna like be a cheesehead now. She's gonna be a Packers fan. It's
Yeah.
good to see. So
Yeah.
I put the Hoop, just for context. I put the cheesehead on when we were talking about the Lions Packers game, which our teams technically are going head to head on Sunday night. So it should be fun to watch. And winner likely makes the playoffs as long as Seattle doesn't win, then the Lions can get in. But should be a fun game, and we got a fun slate. A lot of small totals, but should be a good time.
Hoop, you're a Lions fan, huh? How are you feeling?
Yeah,
right
I mean, I'm from the area. Like I've I disassociated myself with the team. But as I've said throughout the season, Dan Campbell's kind of started to win me over a little bit. I wasn't a big fan, but I like what he's done this year. I think the Lions are close, so I'm close to being a fan. As of right now, I'm still just a guy from the area.
Hey, let's talk about this week 18 because it's always just a cluster, right? And we don't know who's going to play and who's not going to play. Sometimes it looks like Christian McCaffrey might not play. Just some really big names that we're doing. So, Hoop, how do we handle this here with the uncertainty with the news? Like, we have to set an outline today, but what are we doing with news up to lock?
For like GPPs, I think it's definitely like the hardest week of the season. I mean, it's really hard to really know where you go. You think you have it all nailed. You think you have the motivations all nailed, and then like random guys from teams with nothing to play for just absolutely nuke the slate. So it's definitely my least favorite from a GPP standpoint. Definitely looking forward to the playoffs. I mean, that's going to be a lot of fun. But week 18, not my favorite week in cash games. Everyone just does the same thing. I mean, you're going to be a lot of repetition, a lot of high owned plays because people are just going to play the guys from the games where there's meaningful games. They're just going to play the guys playing in meaningful games, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know. It's a pretty boring week overall, I guess. I'm definitely looking forward to the playoffs to start though, because that's a lot of fun. But from a cash perspective, yeah, you're just forced to focus in on the teams that have something to play for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm such an NFL geek. I'll just take this. Mango, and when we have crappy slates, I'm still excited. But how are you handling this? Is it same as Hoop? You on the same page here? How are we handling the uncertainty in cash?
Yeah, I mean, so for one, like there might be some like guys that are just like really great cash plays that we don't even know about yet, just because that's how it goes sometimes. We're still waiting on the news to come in. And especially with the last week of the season. So that's me important. Trying to figure out the incentive things. There's some players that have like, hey, if you get like, X amount of catches, you might get, let's say you get 8 catches, you might get like a $750,000, signing bonus. I saw Kenny Galladay needs 75 catches for his $750,000 bonus. So he's going to struggle.
That was a good one.
Yeah. He's going to struggle to get that one. But yeah, those are things to look at. Obviously incentive, like, if your team's trying to like make the playoffs, right? Which some of those games got moved off, or if it's for seeding, right? We know the Packers game, that one's off now. We got that Jaguars game, that's on Saturday slate. So some of the games will have some meaning, but there won't be as many that we had before. So that's going to be another key talking point too. Like some games are decided for the division, like Bengals and Ravens. That might be a good talking point to go over too, Holden, if you know all of those. I believe you have a pretty
I'll give you some incentives, and then we can talk about the playoffs. How about that? Justin Jefferson needs 194 yards to set the single season receiving record. After last week, I kind of feel like he's just going to go bananas, Mangone. So there's one of them. Gerald Everett, 5 catches to get $250,000. Zay Jones, that one doesn't matter because he's going to get to that anyways. Tyler Higbee, that doesn't matter. He's going to get to that anyways. So that to me are 2 big ones. Justin Herbert, 34 completions to set the single season completion record. So you got Herbert, you got Justin Jefferson. These are a couple of things that I think are interesting. And those are really the big incentive guys, right? Justin Jefferson to me really stands out. If you're playing the Saturday slate, Mahomes needs 430 yards to set the single season record. So him and Herbert are kind of going back and forth, and maybe Herbert knows what he needs to get by then. But Gerald Everett, Justin Jefferson, the two big ones there. So that's just as far as player incentives go. We got the Eagles, right? They need to clinch. And you would think that Hurts will come back this week. We'll find out. You've got the Bills, who are very motivated. Second seed. I know this is going to be some odd stuff when we look at the home field advantage, maybe a neutral site. But the Bills, very motivated. The Bengals.
Holden, I kind of like the neutral site thing. Are you? What's your thoughts on that?
Not a fan. I love home field advantage. I really won't be a fan if they put it in a dome. I would love to see it out there.
Man, I was so pissed because the Ford Field's been like the default stadium for like all these games. So I was pumped, and then they said I guess they're redoing the turf there, so it's like can't even be a neutral site. Like that would have been awesome to have like a conference championship game here.
You're right. I think Indy would probably be a place.
Yeah, but they'll probably get it.
I was so excited because we've got outdoor cold weather teams that are the top 3 seeds, right? We got Buffalo, KC, Cincinnati, and I love outdoor, football, but the circumstances are the circumstances. And Hamlin was like FaceTiming his guy. So everything's good there. Hopefully it keeps going. But yeah, I don't like it, but I also, what am I going to do? You know,
what's the other options? What are the options?
I mean, what are the options?
I mean,
I will play it in Cleveland. Go play it in Cleveland outdoors by the lake.
When everyone plays in an outdoor game.
Yeah. They're not going to do that. But so again, Hoop, we got the Eagles that are motivated, Chiefs, Bills, Bengals. Niners can still leapfrog the Eagles. It doesn't look like McCaffrey is practicing this week, though. So that'll be interesting. The Cowboys very motivated. The Seahawks are still in it. The Patriots, the Dolphins, the Steelers. So
did you say the Vikings? What about the Vikings? Are they stuck in their spot?
Yeah, the Vikings really are not.
They're only
motivated.
I think they're 2 or 3 seed no matter what. I mean, the problem with the Niners now is their motivation was the Giants to beat the Eagles. The Giants just announced they're resting all their guys. So I don't think they have any motivation, and their injury report definitely looks like they're kind of leaning towards not giving it a full go.
Yeah. I don't think the Bucks, if they play their starters, they're not going to play very long. They clinched the division. Like Hoop just said, the Giants. And then I think we can actually find guys that are trying in these the teams that are eliminated. Okay, so the Jets are starting Joe Flacco this week, and he needs 2 touchdown passes to have the team lead this year. Think about that quarterback play there this year. The Texans, I know Lovie Smith is supposed to tank this game. I bet you the Texans go out there and fight like hell. Same thing with the Colts. The Raiders going up against the Chiefs. The Raiders are not going to lay down. That is a huge.
But they're not on the main slate. They play on Saturday.
Oh, that's a Saturday game. So
so I mean, a lot of the motivated teams are off the main slate, which is makes it even more difficult, I guess.
You're right. We got Browns, we got Rams playing division rivals. We've got the Bears without Justin Jefferson. Cardinals, Rams, Panthers, Falcons, Saints, Commanders. I think that Panthers-Saints game, those 2 teams are really going to go out there and try and win this game. The guys in Carolina love Steve Wilkes. And then as far as the Saints go, they're pretty pumped up too. So there's a lot, guys. There's a lot. And I think that you really got to dig through this and pay attention to it, right? Because if you don't, you're just going to end up screwing yourself and losing money this week. So that's the broad picture of this. And we will get some news, and we'll do the news dump tonight. So those of you that are looking for as much news as possible, we will get a lot of the news for who's playing this week tonight. So that's going to go right after Up to Lock. It's a free show, and it starts at 7:00 Eastern. Me, Tambo, and Crane. I always like talking with Crane too, because he and I are in the ex-wives club, and we're just simpatico when it comes to that. We just complain, and then we go on the air and we don't say anything.
Ex-wives club, I love that, man.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, my favorite story about Crane, real quick, and related to his wife. And now looking back on the story, it makes sense that they ended up getting divorced. As we were doing a Friday, it was either NBA. It probably had to be baseball because it was warm. It was a Friday baseball show. That was early on. No one had good setups or anything. And Crane was in his basement doing the show. and like right over his head was like the glass block windows, that a lot of the basements have. And we're doing the show, and like you can see, like he was zoomed out, so you could see there's someone like walking back and forth, like past his like window, and then eventually it became clear that this person was cutting the grass. And we're like, Crane, your lawn service is out there cutting the grass. Oh, I know. The volume's going crazy. He's like, yeah, you got to tell your service to change the time. He goes, oh no, that's not a lawn service. He's like, that's my wife out there cutting. So he's doing the show, and the wife is going back and forth mowing the lawn as he's doing the show. Long story short, ended up getting divorced. So that could have been one of the signs right there, because women don't like doing yard work. Or at least cutting the grass.
No,
my wife, she likes doing the, planting the flowers, the bushes, dealing with all that stuff. She likes, that sort of thing, but not cutting the grass.
No, I used to enjoy cutting the grass. It was nice.
I love it. You guys know. I mean, I guess I don't need to say that.
No, you don't need to say it.
There's no secret at this point.
You just like going outside. What kind of grass? You don't have Kentucky bluegrass, do you?
I don't know, just grass.
If you're a real grass guy, you'd know what you have. You're a fake grass guy. Mangone, I wanted to bring this up to you real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to remember that next year. I'll be sending you some pictures of my
damn
lawn.
Straight you will.
I have one of the top lawns in my neighborhood.
Oh,
so.
And I have to personally apologize to you for not including you on the golf tweet.
That hurt, man. I'm not.
I know
gonna lie.
it did.
I mean, that hurt.
All the other guys. You're not just another guy. AP's not just another guy. You and AP get the apologies.
Right.
I've been apologizing to a lot of people lately. Tambo.
It's all right.
Can you apologize to me for having to listen to this conversation for the past 2 minutes?
Here's something I want to tell you, Mangone. Do you bet a lot of basketball here in Denver or in Colorado?
Yeah, I like betting on basketball.
Dude, for the first time ever, and the Broncos suck, NBA handle more betting on the NBA than the NFL here. Absolutely fascinating. This is an amazing NBA market. So I just thought that was fascinating. You'd like that.
That is actually.
Well, it's also interesting because, like, as you know, Holden, like, you can't watch Nuggets games here, right? Like,
a lot of people can't.
Like, a lot of people just can't because it's kind of like the Dodgers with like the way it's set up with the TV service. So yeah, that's kind of interesting, just because you would think people would want to bet on what they're able to watch, and you'd assume they're betting on the Nuggets. I guess last night they did play on TNT though, so that is one reason they were able to actually watch it.
Yeah, it was a pretty entertaining game too.
Yeah, I mean that's literally the only NBA that I watch.
Wasn't that the blowout game?
That was the Ty Lue all the second half starters were just completely different.
What a dick.
All right, guys, let's get into the slate. Like button would be great. Hoop, do we have any promos to talk about, or are we just riding?
We got that partnership with Underdog. So if you go to Underdog and plug in that promo code RUNPEER, you get up to $100 deposit match, and we're going to start rolling out some videos this week. Me and Title did the preview video yesterday. Then we're going to start rolling out some live drafts up until next Saturday. So cool. Best ball for the playoffs, and Title, tons of success. Obviously, took down that $250,000 in the season long. So
I shouldn't say this, but I don't congratulate people in the Discord. I usually DM them, and I said, Title, congrats, you're awesome. I mean, I love the kid. I think he's great.
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't do this because it was a private conversation, but it's just too good. I put a GIF of Arnold Schwarzenegger saying, "I don't take no shit. I'm a stud." And I was like, "Dude, who is this?" And he's like, "I have no idea." I literally have no idea. And my daughter, she's 7. She's like, California. She knows who Schwarzenegger is.
Yeah, see, Title's playing this up as if it's like his age, that he doesn't know, like these. I mean, historic icons in like the entertainment industry. Maybe there's something more to this, because he's pretending like it's his age, but like my kids know these people. It's same as you.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's get into quarterback. We'll start with you, Hoop, as we always do. Again, we got to find out if Hurts is going to play. We think that it's going to happen. We got Allen, we got Burrow, we got Herbert, who's very motivated for the single season passing record. That's up top. I mean, download Joe Flacco is in here now. He could be in play. Andy Dalton, talk to me here. What kind of week is this at quarterback as of now?
As it stands now, assuming Hurts plays, which I think he does play, it's kind of just Hurts or Geno Smith for me. I mean, Hurts is 8-2. I think that's a great price tag for him. if he's full go. The only issue with that situation now is it sounds like the Giants are resting their guys, so this game could potentially be over at halftime. I think they were 14-point favorites. That would likely go up if they officially rule out their guys, which it sounds like they're going to. I just wanted to pull it up. Yeah, it's off the board now, so it's going to be an even bigger than 14-point spread. So this thing could be done at halftime, but still hard to ignore him. You're looking for floors this week. We're not necessarily looking for ceilings. We want guys that are going to play, as many quarters as possible. 8.2K, I think can get it done even if they smash the Giants, which they likely will. So Jalen Hurts up top, Geno Smith at 6K if we need the savings. Do we need the savings? Probably not, because I have to imagine that we're going to get some really, really cheap plays. If Christian McCaffrey some reason does sit, there's going to be cheap options. I mean, there already is cheap options available. So I don't know if you necessarily need to save. So for me right now, it's like Hurts, Geno. And then you could potentially look at Flacco and not Flacco, sorry. Joe, Burrow or Josh Allen, if you want. Burrow or Josh Allen, they both need to essentially win this week. But for me, it's probably going to be like Hurts or Geno Smith.
You don't want Sam Howell at 4.9 either.
No, man, I'm not messing with any of those dudes. I know.
Jalen Hurts, let's see here. Sirianni just said that Hurts is trending in the right direction for
I have to imagine he's going to play, but again, they're going to be I don't see what the updated number is on that game. It was 14. It could potentially go up. They're going to be massive favorites.
Yep. What do we got here, Mangone? What do you want to do at quarterback? What's the game plan?
Yeah, I'm a little more nervous about Hurts. I think he's I agree with what Hoop said though. He's got the nice floor, so I totally agree on that. But man, if they just rush it in a bunch, you're just going to feel like an idiot with because the game's just going to be over. I don't think they're going to be able to put enough pressure on that Eagles team. So that's the one worry I have where I'm hoping I don't have to pay up at quarterback and I can go down to a Geno and it'll just make more sense. Geno obviously in a game that they have to win, assume they'll be throwing the ball a bunch, but they will run too, right? Obviously they have Kenneth Walker. He's looked really good. They're going up against the Rams too. Rams have been susceptible against the run. So definitely think that Geno Smith is an option. Those are kind of the main two for me. I can make a case for Burrow at 7.3, but I think if I was already at 7.3, I'd probably want to try to get up to Hurts if I could. Let's see. There's some other cheap ones I wanted to discuss. If you wanted to go, I guess you're not going to go all the way down here is the problem this week. There's a bunch of bums that you could consider, but I just don't think you're going to need to because you're going to have enough value at the running back and receiver position. Yes, you're going to want to jam in a stud or two, but there'll be enough value where I don't think you'll have to go down there. So I guess for me right now, it's really going to be leaning between Geno, Hurts. You could put Allen in the discussion and then Burrow, but it's really looking like those guys. It's just depends on which price range you are going to live in. I'm hoping I can live in the Geno range, and I feel like it's uncomfortable to get to that top range. That way I just feel more comfortable and I'll have to make that decision. That would be the most ideal scenario, but we'll likely have enough value where I'll have to really think that one through.
All right, so that's the quarterback position. We'll move on to the running back position, but thank you, Hoop, for letting me know that we do have a partnership with Underdog. It'll be some best ball. I know you and Title just did a show, and Run Pure is the code up to $100 match when you deposit at Underdog. So make sure you use that code, Run Pure, best ball. We got Hoop and Title running away. A couple guys that really, really good. Title just took down the 25K, and obviously Hoop here doing his thing. Let's move on to
not 25K, 250K.
Hold on a second. He won 250K?
When I first looked at it too, I thought it did. I don't know why the numbers together did make it look like 25K. Yeah, it was 250,000.
Tony runs Big T runs well, but who's running better than Title? Given his age, the kid's 18. He's freaking winning $250,000 hits. I'm just gonna go down and sleep at Casa de Title at some time. It's just
very humble. He's very humble too. He didn't want to talk. He didn't want to talk about. He was up by well over 100 points going into the week. It really wasn't much of a sweat at all. And he got the job done. Didn't want to really talk about it much. I was
should probably send him another gift of
he did drop the ball sack on everyone because we were talking about it on the show. He's like, it's not really going to change my life at all. No big deal.
Yeah, bullshit. It's going to change your life, boy. It's going to change your life. You can upgrade at the dispensary. Okay, so but he doesn't do that. I would do that. he would drink beer. He's gonna, you know what? He's gonna,
man. Title on that show the other day. It looked like he was lit as anything doing that playback show. I don't know if he was doing the dispensary, but it seems
he's gonna upgrade from Pabst Blue Ribbon to whatever expensive beer he has. That's what's going on with him.
Title does get after it in those streets. I can verify.
All right, cool. That'd be nice. So, I'm just gonna read some news off once we see it. Kenny Walker is still sidelined, so he might. I mean, you would think he's going to play, but
he played last week. I'm assuming he's going to, but if he doesn't, like that'd be surprising. I think.
Yeah, I know, and maybe it's DJ Dallas time. So again, just pay attention. There's a few guys. James Conner not out at practice yesterday, so again, news dump coming up at 7 Eastern. Hoop running back. Is there any clear path that you want to look at right now? Is there anybody that really stands out to you this week?
I mean, yeah, it could definitely all change. You know, obviously, if a few of these questionable tags go in the wrong direction, as it stands now, I mean, the safe guys, which is what we're looking for. Joe Mixon, was he 7.1K for Joe Mixon? They're going to need to. They do need to win this ball game. Fair price tag for him. We'll get a majority of the work. Probably 20 some touches. So Mixon is very safe. Now, if Kenneth Walker is good to go, which I think he is, he's probably like a lock for cash games. A team that needs to win, going up against the Rams. They're big favorites here, just getting a ton of work. 26 carries, 23 carries in the last 2 games. He would be a phenomenal play. I have to imagine he plays. So he's a guy I think you definitely want to play in cash games. Tyler Algier, I think you actually brought him up last week on the show. And then he got a ton of traction, lived up to it. 20 rushes, 1 target, 1 catch. He's been great the last 3 weeks, going up against a Bucs team that has nothing to play for this week. I think he's a fine option. The Steelers need to win, and Najee Harris hasn't been great this season. But he's been better as of late and starting to get basically all the work. 24 carries. Then he got 16 carries with 6 catches, 22 carries with 2 catches last week. So he is 6.1K. Has not been a good season for him. But again, they're in it to win it. They're at home. He's cheap, 6.1K. That's kind of where I'm going to stay focused right now in cash games. So Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Algier, and Najee Harris. I have 4 options, I think, and we're going to get more probably over the weekend. Someone's going to get ruled out, one of these big name guys. Maybe it's, Christian McCaffrey, maybe, Austin Eckler. Chargers. The problem with the Chargers is if the Bengals beat the Ravens, they have nothing to play for. They're locked into the 5 seed. Bengals, Ravens play at 1 p.m. Eastern. Chargers play at 4 p.m. Eastern. So when they're going to know basically before their game starts if they have anything to play for or not. So all those Chargers guys super risky. He could sit, which would make Justin Jackson, but you'd have to sit on. Is it Justin Jackson? What's that dude's name? Is that his name?
I mean, that's his backup, isn't it?
Yeah, Justin
Jackson.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Is it?
There's Joshua Kelly there. I mean,
that's one of those.
Justin Jackson
is the Lions guy, right? I don't know. Who knows?
Justin Jackson plays for the Celtics, but he's also a. He's with the Lions. Jackson's with the Lions.
Yeah, he's with the Giants. It's Joshua Kelly, I'm thinking of. Yeah, and he's 5'6", but you'd have to wait on that news. As it stands now, you got Walker, who I do think plays great play. Algier, Najee Harris, and Joe Mixon is the guys that I'm looking at.
Okay. Well, Elijah Mitchell might be in play because I just got this tweet from Cam Inman, who covers the Niners. Deebo Samuel, Elijah Mitchell expected to play on CMC. If he's not right, we won't have him out there. We want him right for the playoffs, but if he's healthy, he's going to play. He's not played this. He's not practiced this week. So again, Elijah Mitchell could be in play, right?
4K, right? Is he 4K? I mean, the problem there though is they're going to use him in the playoffs if he comes back. So how much are they really going to push him? I mean, if they're punting this game, it could just be like some random dude. But again, if McCaffrey misses, 4K, and yeah, he'd be in the conversation.
At least just roll him out there, see if you can get 10 points out of him, right? You also got Tyrion Davis Price and Jordan Mason back there. So, again, keep an eye on CMC. That'll be a big, big story this week that we will be following. Mangone, running back. How are we handling this? Is there anybody we feel comfortable with at the top? I mean, Eckler against Denver, maybe? I'd rather spend up on Justin Jefferson personally, but what do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, you could argue maybe you can spend.
Receiver.
Yeah, you can argue you can maybe spend for a running back and a receiver, but I don't know if I'm going to be spending at running back just because like Austin Eckler is like the guy I think I'd spend on if I could. I mean, obviously if McCaffrey's healthy, sure, he'd be number one, but with that uncertainty, I would lean Eckler as the number one, but I want to make sure that they're going to be in a game that they're going to win, like need to win, right? I think that's going to be important. So I don't know if that's going to happen. My first expensive guy to spend on would probably be Joe Mixon at 7-1, and it sounds disgusting saying it, but it's the truth. It just seems like he is in the conversation this week at that price tag, 7.1K, competitive game. Likely will have opportunities to score, just be involved in the pass game. So he's in the conversation. You got Ramondre Stevenson. I know Patriots need to win the game. Last week he disappointed a bit. He's been dealing with some injuries. Harris is there as well, so it's like you have to deal with that situation, but he's worth mentioning, I would say. I don't know what to do with Alvin Kamara. I think Alvin Kamara has just been frustrating throughout the year. I think there's other ways I'd rather go. I'd rather go to Kenneth Walker if he is going to be healthy. I do think he would be a great option with Seattle needing to win this game against the Rams. I think Kenneth Walker would be a really great play, someone that I'm looking to go to. A team that's playing for nothing but playing great and going to go up against a defense that's not so great is on the opposite side of Kenneth Walker. It's Cam Akers, right? Cam Akers has been playing great. I think he's someone that sometimes we have these like running backs that are playing late in the year, and it seems like they're not on teams that are not playing for anything, but they're playing for like a job or they're playing just for their life, basically, right? And it seems like Cam Akers is kind of playing for his life. So I'm definitely interested in him. Another guy who's a young one that's playing for his job a little bit is Tyler Algier. Yes, he's a rookie, so he'll be there next year, but he's trying to win over a job. He wants to be the guy in Atlanta. So I think Tyler Algier will be a pretty good play. Only downside, he's going up against Tampa Bay, and it's not the easiest matchup. The volume will be there. He'll be involved in the pass game. So you do worry about getting the bonus, though, because not many running backs get that bonus against them. And we'll have to see. I think Tyler Algier is in the conversation, though, this week for a cheap price tag. And then now it gets kind of like slim pickings from down here. I don't know what to really do with this range until we kind of get news. I think that's going to be the most important thing. Yes, you can make the case like Matt Breida against the Eagles. He's probably going to be the running back, but like, I mean, they could mix and match other guys in there too. I want to wait and see which guys are going to be in and out, but that's kind of like the core group of guys I guess I'm working with to start right now. And then we'll see what happens. Obviously the Elijah Mitchell thing, that can be important, but I kind of agree with what you were saying, Holden. We could easily see TDP be in there. Just other guys can gain the volume instead. So right now it's kind of like living in that range of like Algier to like Joe Mixon, and then waiting to see what kind of information and news we get going forward.
All right, we'll move on to the wide receiver position. Before we do that, though, let me tell you what's coming up on RPS today. We also got stuff on the bet side. We got talking touchdowns at 1 o'clock Eastern. If you like betting, Spread, Tyler, and Kurt. NBA rundown, more betting coming up at 2 o'clock with Spread, Tyler, and AP. Our boy AP's over there talking a little betting. Print Factory, 3 o'clock. We know this one. JSU, Tony, ODB Dunkel. I mean, I thought I took a lot of shit, but JSU is on another level. I mean, they just kill him on that show. Absolutely kill him. And I love it. I love seeing it because he deserves it. So we'll keep going down. We got NBA Hardwood, right? We got the final countdown at 6 o'clock. Me, JSU, and Tony. That's a premium show. And then a free show at 7. Me, Tambo, Crane, News Dump. Everything we learned today, help you out in cash, GPPs, whatever you're playing, head-to-heads, doesn't matter. All right, we're going to get to the wide receiver position and been building around Justin Jefferson. Obviously didn't work last week, Hoop, but at 9-1, I'll take him over any running back that's out there. You've also got Tyreek against the Jets. The Dolphins will be trying. Jamar Chase versus Baltimore. There's some big spend-up guys this week. What's your thoughts first on Jefferson? What are we doing there?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the right ways. He need like 170-something yards to get this record. I don't know. I think I'm a little more cautious about him just because they have like nothing to play for. They are either the 2 or the 3 seed, which doesn't really matter all that much. Unlikely shot at the 2. So yeah, probably like the 3 seed. So they literally have nothing to play for. Had a good season, have a good record. I'm assuming they think they're going to make a run in the playoffs. I think he's got to get going early. And if he doesn't get going early, then they're just going to say, all right, let's just, pull the plug on this. So I think there is a little more risk. Spending, I think it's a decision between him and Chase. I probably lean Jamar Chase if I'm going to spend up at wide receiver. He's got motivation. They're going to want to win. A little bit cheaper, $700 cheaper, so I'd be fine going there. You have the Seattle guys. DK Metcalf is 6'7", Tyler Lockett 6'4". They have something to play for, obviously. I think they're in the conversation a little bit. Garrett Wilson, probably liked him a little bit more with Mike White, but Joe Flacco in there, I think that's fine too. He's 5.8K. Definitely don't mind him. We have some cheap guys that we can take a look at. Drake London, 4.9K. Again, this matchup against the Bucs, they have nothing to play for. I think there were some quotes where the Bucs said they're going to play their guys. I just don't believe that. They have absolutely nothing to play for. They have Tom Brady, who's old. Can't imagine that is going to be the case. Rashid Shaheed, 4.2K. I think he's in play.
He's not old. He's only 45. Give me a break. Yeah. He's a spring chicken.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not far off that either.
Yeah,
so
you are.
I know
10 years younger. Get out of here. Once you wait till you're my age, it's all over.
Yeah.
Anyways, keep going. I had to interject.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not a ton. I mean, you could play the Eagles guys. I mean, they have something to play for, but that game is likely over. I mean, pretty early. AJ Brown is 8K. There's just not a lot of clarity at the position. You probably do end up spending here because we have cheap options. I think it's probably Jamar Chase. You could throw Jacoby Myers in there. They have something to play for. He's 5.1K. I don't know. It's pretty wide open in terms of cash games, to be honest with you, at wide receiver.
All right, Mangone. Your boys shut down Justin Jefferson last week. What do you think about him in cash this week?
Yeah, I think he's a good play. I do think, like if it's not working out, they're gonna shut it down, right? Like there's no reason to. So there's more risk to him, I think, than people are leading on. But I like him. I'm obviously gonna have him in the conversation for me. I like Tyreek Hill. I think he's in a game that it's a must win, right? Like that's another guy that we should consider a little bit. Will Sauce Gardner be on him? Yeah, I think so. But maybe that opens the door more up for Waddle. But I think he's in the conversation. It's a must-win game for someone like Tyreek Hill, and they find ways to scheme him open. Jamar Chase, 8.4. I think he's probably the better play over Tyreek Hill for less. Would kind of prefer him. He seems like a really good receiver up top, obviously in a must-win game. I don't think this matters that much, but I guess the Bengals, it kind of feels like a week where they got 2 weeks off, right? So maybe they are fresher legs. I don't know. I didn't even think about that angle till now. But Jamar Chase, definitely someone that I am interested in at 8.4K. CD Lamb, 8.2. He's another guy to mention. Dallas, I believe they'll be playing pretty hard for the most part for this game. I mean, they can obviously, Dallas hasn't clinched. Eagles haven't clinched everything up. Dallas obviously can move up their seedings. Things can change. So CD Lamb's in the conversation, but obviously not as much incentive. Stephon Diggs at 7.9. That's a guy that I would be a little bit more interested in AJ Brown. I mean, I know he's in that range and he's in a must-win game, but Giants likely laying over. Stephon Diggs is someone that the Bills, they want to win this game. It's important for them to win. So he's someone that I'll look at as well with a little bit of incentive. You could make that case for T. Higgins, but I think he starts to get a little pricey here. And a lot of these guys are starting to get pricey, where I'd rather, instead of being in the 7K range, I want to go all the way up to these other guys that we kind of talked about. I don't want to be in these low sevens. Don't think it's the greatest spot. In the 6K range, though, we obviously have, if for some reason you make the argument that the Chargers, let's say that they have a chance to change their seating, you could make the case that Keenan Allen at 6.9 could be interesting, but DK Metcalf in that must-win game, right, at 6.7, he seems like someone I'm really interested in, or Tyler Lockett at 6.4. Both those guys, must-win games, going to be heavily involved. I think those guys you have to consider this week. You can consider Garrett Wilson with the Jets. Obviously, Joe Flacco, he throws, he throws a ton. They drop him back all the time. They did that at the start of the year. I expect Garrett Wilson to be peppered a ton. So his price at 5.8 just seems like it's still too cheap. So you could put him in the conversation. Jacoby Myers is another cheap option to discuss. You expect the Patriots to be in a trailing script. Jacoby Myers is their number one at 5.1K. It's got to be something that's at least intriguing there at that price because of that. And then, the cheap ones, there's a couple to like. I'm losing my spot. I know Brandon Cooks against the Colts. If you think they are going to play for something, you could make a case for that. I'm not dying to. One guy who's really emerged and played some really great football is Raheed Shaheed. He's been great, and I think you can make the argument for him at 4.2K being intriguing. Young player that's just, obviously playing for a job for next year, right? He still wants to be around. He wants to be, the focal point of the offense. So you can make a case for him. Greg Dortch was a guy last week that we played at 3K. Guess you can make the case for him because Arizona is still playing, but I'm not dying to get there. He doesn't feel as good of a play as last week, but overall, I don't think I'm going to need to spend down at receiver as much. I think I'm going to spend down more at running back. And then I think I am going to want to spend up and try and get some pretty good receivers, right? At least two of them. It feels like if I started my build with like Chase and Metcalf, that'd feel like a great starting point. Getting two guys in must-win games, at least for Seattle, it's a must-win. Bengals, it's not a must-win, but they would like the division, of course, instead.
All right, very good. One more position to go, and that'll be tight end. We'll get to that in just a second. Remember, Underdog and Run Pure, we are in cahoots here. Title just won $250,000. He and Hoop doing shows here for Best Ball. If you go to Underdog, you type in the code RUNPURE, you'll get a deposit match up to $100. So go do that. Take care of that. And as we always do, we get the tight end and we go straight to Mangone. Mangone, you are the tight end master. At least, that's all I can say to you. Okay. You're the tight end master. What do you want to do here? What's the deal? Are we going back to Njoku at 3.9? It seems like every week in cash, he's a guy that is in the mix. Talk to me here.
Yeah, well, Deebo Samuel's back, which means George Kittle is back to blocking, as we talked about. So, I don't think we want George Kittle this week as much. Doesn't seem like just a game they're going to involve him as much. Maybe in the playoffs, not now. TJ Hawkinson at 5.7. Well, I mean, listen, if everyone thinks that Justin Jefferson's getting over 200 yards like they do in the chat, then how could you play TJ Hawkinson, right? There's no yards to go around. But I do think Hawkinson's in play if you have the money to spend up. Just depends if you have the money to spend up. Mark Andrews seems more intriguing than those other two options in a must-win game at 5.4K. I think Mark Andrews would definitely be someone that you should consider. The question is, do you have the salary to do it this week? That's going to be the big debate. Dallas Goedert, don't need to go there. As we keep going down, you can make cases for like Dalton Schultz at 4 or 5 in that game, but not dying to get there either. Tyler Higbee, I know, has been heavily involved in the offense at 4.4K. He's a little bit interesting. I like the point you brought up with Njoku. Njoku's obviously the only 3.9K. You see the Browns just keep playing. There's no reason not to for him. So the Njoku, interesting play. And then as we get cheaper, right? Tyler Conklin looked good with Joe Flacco. You could make arguments for him. Hunter Henry maybe in a must-win game. Guess you could consider that, but there's risk to it. Hayden Hurst at 3.1 in that must-win game kind of sticks out as an interesting option. Yes, Hayden Hurst is someone that, he could get you 5 fantasy points, but at 3.1K, it's not as big of a deal, and it's what it does for your full lineup. And it depends how much value we have in other positions where we go. So I want to have guys in different ranges that I'm kind of interested in. I know Albert O has gotten discussed as, starting to get some more volume. Holden, I know you're a Broncos guy, so I can let you touch on that here shortly. But my point is with the tight end position is I want to have guys in different ranges to consider and then kind of make this like my last spot to figure out.
Don't do it, Mangone. Dulcich is down. That's just it's a crap show.
I just know, I remember the interim coach said there was a funny quote. He said, I don't understand why this guy doesn't play more. He looks good out. He looks like.
Oh, Albert O.
Yeah.
Albert O. Yeah. He had like 6 drops and then he caught a touchdown. I mean, that's a tournament play right there, Mangone.
Yeah. I just didn't know if it changed. I figured I'd ask just because you followed Denver pretty closely. So
yeah.
But I prefer Hayden Hurst at 3.1. So for me, it'd be Hayden Hurst at that 3.1 range. It'd probably be Schultz at like the 4K range. And then it'd be Mark Andrews at 5.4. But for me, like the two that I'm really debating right now are probably Andrews and Hurst.
All right. What do you think about this, Hoop? Let's talk some tight end. Does this pay up? Because this never pay up at tight end. Give me some Njoku. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with him. Mark Andrews, if you want to go up, I mean, 5.4K. If we have salary, maybe. Dallas Goedert, 4.9K with Hurts in. Again, Eagles probably got to get it done in the first half. Any of the Eagles guys you play the first 3 quarters, specifically with Giants likely resting all their guys. Good with Hayden Hurst and Njoku, like you guys said. Pat Freiermuth, 3.8K. Steelers are kind of playing here to win. Probably won't go to Hawkinson. I'm good with did I say Hayden Hurst? If I didn't say Hurst, I'm good with Hurst too. I don't know. I mean, all these guys seem similar. Jelani Woods, I'd be fine going back to him as well. It's going to be probably one of the last positions I fill out and just see what I have left, to be honest with you, and just play one of these guys. They all seem like very similar plays to me. Nothing stands out. Hunter Henry, you could throw into the conversation. Maybe we get some news where, something emerges and the guy just goes up and like, all right, we need this guy. As it stands now, it's going to be the last position I fill out. I'm just going to see what I have available. Like Mangone said, have guys in different tiers, plug one of the dudes in, and kind of move on. I mean, there'll be more clarity going into Sunday. I mean, a lot of guys, some guys we haven't even talked about will probably emerge as like cash game type locks.
Yeah, and then there's defense. We rarely talk about defense, but with so many teams punting this week, I feel like we're gonna be in a good spot, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have a cheap D. I mean, there's a few. Like right now, no Fields. You have the Vikings for sure. Falcons at 2.4K, going against the Bucks, they have nothing to play for. Broncos potentially, with the Chargers likely having nothing to play for. Those are just a few that kind of stand out.
I mean, Miami is going to be very popular going up against Joe Flacco and the Jets.
Yeah, he drops back. They drops back a lot, and he's a statue. So if they get close to him, he'll just fall over.
That might be the chalk, as a matter of fact, at this point. Chalk defense.
You also might have the money to spend up at defense, like you maybe don't most weeks. Like you never know, right? It depends what emerges for running back and receiver, right? That's going to be how we're building out our lineups. That's going to be the key and the core. And you are going to gain some news that like some guys are sitting, and it's going to just change the slate. So it's hard to make a decision on it, but I think this is a week that you might be more willing to spend than other weeks. I will at least say that.
Okay. I like it. Thumbs up on the way out. What about a Buffalo player smashing this week? I mean, it's entirely possible.
Yeah. I mean, for sure.
Don Yeezy, always good to see you, man. Robert, you too. Robert's saying he's going to get 200 yards. He better get, like these guys said, you better get it early.
You got to get going quick. Early. I mean, really, he has to get going quick, or I think they shut it down, to be honest. If he goes out there first drive, gets, 3 catches for 50 yards, you're in business. If he's got 1 catch for 12 after the first quarter, you're probably done.
Yeah, I mean, it could get ugly, right? If at halftime he's got literally 40 yards, you're gonna eventually, unless he rips an 81 to start off the half, they are gonna shut it down. They're gonna.
They went 12-4. They're in the playoffs. They're locked in. They have aspirations to make a playoff run, and they don't want Jefferson getting hurt.
And we'll get more information kind of leading up. Even Sunday morning, you might hear hey, the Vikings are really not interested in getting Justin Jefferson this record, right? You might hear some of that information, or you may hear on the flip side, they're going to try really hard to get him this record.
He wants that record. He wants that record, dude.
I know he wants it, but at the end of the day, sometimes these teams, we don't know. Again, Sunday is coming up. Yeah. I think it's more important to tell people, listen for this information. Be looking for this, right? We'll talk about it on all the shows Sunday morning. Yeah. That's, I think, where it's going to really give you the tell of, should I fire on it or should I not? And it's also going to tell you, is the field going to do it? And then how should you react to it as well?
Yep. 8:45. We'll have it off the chalk. 8:45 Eastern on Sunday, like we normally do. APJT Tambo. The Wood show, of course, with Hoop. That comes up at, what is it? I can't do the Eastern time now.
Yeah, 10 o'clock? 9:50 Eastern, I think. Yeah. 10 Eastern.
We'll just say 10 o'clock. That'll be nice. 10 o'clock. Then Up to Lock starts about 90 minutes before everything locks. That's JSU, me, and Dunkel from the bet side. Bill Miner, I always got to give you a shout out, dude. Baseball dad. Everybody, thanks so much for checking out the show today. What's up, Wolfman Collects? Hit like, you lazy bastards, is what he said. And I completely agree with that. We'll have more news tonight on The Dump. Me, Tambo Crane, and that's coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern if you're a dork and you're home that late and you don't go out. So for Mangone and Hoop, I'm just going to point and you can get us out of here. How's that sound?
Hey, I'd like you to say, Hoop, get us out of here.
Hoop, get us out of here.